We're going to be counting Yesod Shebehod. Yesod Shebehod is the 34th day of the Omer. And as we explained the whole week of Hod, we're focusing on the power of my soul that is called Hoda'ah. It's called Koach HaNefesh. My soul has many different powers. One of the powers is called admitting. Hoda'ah, this is, if you know how to master that, you'll be a very successful individual. Very few people know how to admit, and admit when they're wrong, when they made a mistake. This is an art, to be able to know how to admit. Now, we're focusing on the Yesod Shebehod, the foundation of the Hod, is the power of the soul that will allow me to say thank you. That's another thing that is pretty rare in this planet, is being grateful and being thankful and being appreciative. And sometimes you are, but it doesn't come out. And the Yesod Shebehod is not only the power to say thank you, but a real thank you. Not just say thank you. You know, that's what you say a waiter when he gives you your food. You say thank you. But I'm talking about a real thanking. A real thanking, a real sense of appreciation, you know what it does? It will make a connection between two hearts. If I really thank you for whatever it is, even if you just did something very, very small, it makes a connection between both of our hearts. So much more so is when I do a real thanking with Hashem, how it's connecting me to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. How many times do we have to thank Hashem? You wake up in the morning, you say, Modeh ani lefanecha. I know, I explained many times that Modeh means I admit in front of you. But we can't take the words out of their own context and Modeh ani, I thank you for everything that you do. How do you teach little kids when you say brachot? What do we tell the kids? We're thanking Hashem. They don't understand exactly what's going on with the blessing, but you have a little kid, somebody gives them a candy or something, say thank you to the mommy. So we're constantly trying to teach the kids. The funny thing is that we're trying to teach the kids, we don't even know how to say thank you. So a real thanking, a real appreciation will always cause two hearts to get connected. So much more so when I'm thanking Hashem will cause my spiritual heart and Hashem's spiritual heart to be connected too. Now, everything that we do that is called an action, it will birth something. Whether you realize it or not, every action that you do, it doesn't stop in the action. That's why it's called an action. In Hebrew, it makes much more sense, the words, because in Hebrew, action is called pe'ula. Pe'ula means that I did something that will now result in another thing. This is the word pe'ula in Hebrew. So when I do any type of an action, whether I agree with it or not, or acknowledge it or not, or see it or not, there is a result to my action. And if you really focus and meditate on what I just said, you'll see, wait a minute, you're right. Every action that I do will birth a result. Now be very careful with your actions, because you don't know what it's going to birth. Now I'll give you one example of many. I can get now very upset. That's the action of anger, but what's the result now? Ooh, I can break a window, I can slap somebody in their face, I can hurt somebody's feelings, I can say words that I will never be able to reverse. So my action is very, very dangerous. On the other hand, if you take it to the positive side, my actions, good actions, will birth good results. So taking the action of thanking, then has to be some type of a result. What's the result of gratitude and thankfulness and so forth? Is that it will birth something good. And in most cases, my action will birth a result. Here it will birth something good. What is it birthing? The power of this Yesod, this ability to be grateful and thankful. And when you're looking at the Yesod of Hod, Hod is admitting. Yesod, the foundation of Yesod, is the power to connect myself to anything with being grateful and thankful. So to admit, this is one thing. But thanking will be the power that will connect me to anything that I'm being grateful to. And this whole point of this universe is to connect things together. If your agenda is to disconnect yourself from things, then you're doing completely the opposite of the Torah. That's why, again, you see that the severe sins in the Torah are the sins that are causing separations. The greatest mitzvot is the mitzvot that cause unity. That's why Hashem only wants unity and closeness and togetherness. So the sins, specifically, look at the sins of the Torah that are causing separation or disagreement. These are the worst sins, because the whole point of this creation is what's called leyached yichudim, is to make unities in things. If you pray in a Sephardi Siddur and the Sfard Siddur and some other Siddurim, you see that before any mitzvah that you do, what do we say? L'Hashem echud kudshav richu shchinteh. For the sake of the unity between the Kadosh Baruch Hu and the Shekhinah. It's all about making unities together. So how do you apply that? How do you bring this power out? So the yesod, the foundation of Hod, is the power to connect two things together by being thankful and being grateful. And this is something that is very, very, not easy, but very practical. It's one of my favorite things in the entire idea of Tikkun HaMidot. There are many things, like I said before, some things I relate with more, and some things you will relate with more. That's why I said before, and many other times, don't take this class just for today. Take it if you find that, oh, this is something that is very powerful in me, or this is, I really relate with this specific thing, then you have to apply it all year round. So this specific sphira, the Yesod Shebehod, is very, very powerful, because most people, they don't know how to be thankful and grateful and to appreciate what other people do to them. Now imagine how you feel when you do something and you're not appreciative, and you're not being appreciated. And just imagine how you feel. Wait a minute, I worked so hard, I can't even get a thank you or a smile or whatever. So the power of being grateful, thankful, and appreciative, this is a very, very powerful midah. Needless to say, this is the yesod, the foundation of the Hod. Now, in the order of Tikkun HaMidot, which I explained many times, that the entire Omer is about Tikkun HaMidot, and Tikkun HaMidot is the refinement of character, and that should be applied all year long. In Tikkun HaMidot, there are some things, like I said, you will relate with more, and some things you will relate with less, because each and every one of us came down to the world with a bunch of good characteristics, good midot, and a bunch that are not so good. And now I have to empower the good ones and refine the bad ones. This is mainly why I came to this world. And whatever midah that I need to work on, then God will make sure that all the people around me are the ones who are pressing the right buttons. So if I have to work on the midot of anger and patience and being judgmental, so the Kadosh Baruch Hu will put people around me that constantly will make me angry, constantly will make me impatient, constantly will make me judgmental. Why? To practice the midah. And imagine now a person chas v'shalom gets in an accident. They need to do physiotherapy. So the physiotherapist will tell you the pain is when you go like this, so go like this a lot. Yeah, but it hurts. But that's where you fix the problem, right? Now you understand what I'm saying. I also broke my hand 16 years ago. I had to do physiotherapy. The physiotherapy was exactly how it hurt. But the therapist says, but that's how you fix it. So how do you do your spiritual physiotherapy? Is if I have to work on anger, then Hashem is going to put a wife that's going to drive me crazy, kids that are going to drive me crazy, a boss, they're all going to get me angry all day long. Why? So I can practice this midah. Same thing if I go and work out in the gym. If I want to have nice pump up biceps, then I need to do a certain action that will work on the biceps. If I will push my legs, it's not going to work on the biceps. So I have a bunch of midot that I need to work on. A lot of them we all share. Anger is something that is very common. Everybody has to work on anger. And patience and being judgmental and jealousy and there's a long list of midot. But the Kadosh Baruch Hu will make sure that the ones that are around me are the ones who are holding the mirrors up. And I don't like the mirrors. And I don't like when you push all my buttons. So by default, I don't like you. But you are my personal trainer. So I have to be very thankful for the ones that are in front of me. I have to thank all the ones who are annoying me all day long and making me impatient and so forth. So in Tikkun HaMidot, like I said, some things you will relate with, some things you will relate with. Why? Because my midot that I need to work on are not necessarily the midot that you need to work on. Some people, they have a severe issue with the midah that is called jealousy. Ooh, they will go nuts from every little thing that somebody else has. And some people, they don't care. You can have whatever you want. They'll always be happy for you. They don't have an issue with the midah, the attribute that is called jealousy. So it doesn't mean the person is bad. Just mean that's the midah they have to work on. It's almost like take now a factory, and in the factory there are stations. You know, when many years ago, like as if I'm like a dinosaur. I'm talking about 25 years ago, I went out of the army, and I, thinking what I'm going to do. Anyways, at some point, I have an uncle in Canada who has a big factory for aluminum. And he told me, why don't you come and work with me? You'll make a lot of money. Okay, I thought that might be a good future for me. So in order for me to work in the installing it, I had to go to the factory to learn how they manufacture it. So I had to go 1 week in this station, 1 week in this station, 1 week in this, to see how they're manufacturing each part. The first 3 months was very boring. Why? Because it was like a, I don't know if you say it in English, a monotonous action, like a machine. But I had to see how they're building everything. After 3 months, I knew all the stages, how they manufacture the frame. Then I was able to go and install it. Because in my mind, every time there was a problem, I knew how to troubleshoot it, because I knew how to manufacture it. Same thing here. It's also in Tikkun Midot. I have to go and I have to go through all the stations, and I need to know all the stops. So Tikkun Midot, if I know how to focus on it, then that's what's really gonna make me survive or succeed in this world. So going back to the analogy with the factory, in the factory everybody has a job. And some people, I looked at some people in that factory, they're working in the same station 5 years. How can you not go crazy doing the same all day long, like a little machine? But that's their job. Some of them were happy, some of them not. Some of them were happy. They came in the morning, did their little job, had their lunch break, go home, that's it. But we also have jobs in this world. And sometimes your job is to work on this midah, your job is to work on that midah. Just imagine that we're making this massive artwork in the world. And my job is to polish this midah. I take it personally. She annoyed me, she annoyed me, he annoyed me. No, don't take it personal. It's my station in the factory that I need to polish anger. Control yourself. Don't react. Control your anger. Right? So, the Tikkun Midot, sometimes you will relate with something more, sometimes you will relate with something more. I can give now a class about jealousy. Some people will be like, this is 100% me. Some people say, I'm not jealous about anybody. So in Tikkun Midot, there are a few key things. One of them is called Hakarat HaTov, is me acknowledging the good that somebody did to me. Unfortunately, that's something that most people fail in. People think that they take everything for granted, like as if everybody owes me something. Nobody owes you nothing. The fact that somebody did something good to you, right away you have to be very grateful that that person even bothered to did something good to you. Take that now to the next level. We have to be so grateful for what Hashem does for me. Most people have zero gratefulness or thankfulness, or however you will say it, towards what Hashem does to them. How many times did you stop and say, Hashem, you're so amazing? I can't believe how amazing you are. I can breathe. Wow. You know, some people can't breathe. Go to the hospital here in Ziv, go to the department and they're all attached to machines, they can't breathe. Go to a dentist across the street. Some people don't have teeth. They can't even eat. I have teeth. I can chew. You know how lucky I am? I have teeth. They're working. So I have to thank Hashem all day long. I have to thank Hashem for everything. So the Hakarat HaTov, you practice it between me and you don't take things for granted. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody has to do anything for you. When people do something for you, you have to be thankful. Even if they do it for an agenda and even if they get paid, it doesn't matter. This is called Hakarat HaTov. People helped you, people went out of their way for you, you show gratitude. This is a basic action between two people, so much more so between me and Hashem. If you don't have a Hakarat HaTov, this gratefulness, this being thankful to Hashem, so at some point Hashem says, why would I want to give you anything? And then Hashem starts giving you what they call achoraim, like he throws it back, okay, whatever. So a very big foundation in Tikkun Midot is Hakarat HaTov. And like I said, when it applies to Hashem, what do you say in the morning? Modeh ani lefanecha. I thank you, Hashem, first of all, that you even allowed me to come back here and gave me another day and you're tolerating my nonsense. So same thing, you have to thank your spouse or your parents or whatever. Thank you that you're even tolerating me, because I know that I'm not Mr. Perfection. And don't take anything for granted. So Hodaya, like I told you, we were concentrating the whole week of Hod of admitting. Here we're going to take it to the next level of thanking. Because Hodaya, Hod can be written Hodaya with a Yud, this is thanking. Or Hoda'a with the Aleph, this is admitting. When I want to thank, what's called Hodaya, this is the foundation to any successful relationship. Take any relationship and take the word thank you out of it, it's not going to work. Husband and wife, boss and employee, friends, if there's no thanking there or appreciation. Take now all the relationships, add in it the fact of being thankful, being appreciative, and acting upon that, you'll have a successful relationship. This is the key to any serious relationship with any other person, even with a stranger. Try once in the street to thank somebody, whatever, they moved aside. You were in the supermarket and you had one box of milk and they had a whole cart and they let you go in front of them. Whatever it is, you'll see when you start thanking people, but genuinely, not, yeah, thank you. You'll see how the relationship, even with a stranger, is a completely different relationship. Now, so much more so between somebody that is important to my life and so much more so with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Any person that is very grateful but also acts upon that, you can be very grateful and not say anything. A husband can be very grateful that his wife is doing laundry and cooking and fixing it, but he never says anything. So what good is it? You have to do something. Either you say it with your mouth, or once a week you buy flowers, or once a week you do something, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But any person, this is one example out of many, any person that knows how to thank, knows how to be appreciative and grateful, he's opening his nefesh to be open to another person. So by default, the relationship is much, much, much more healthier. So Yesod Shebehod, this is the power of communicating and connecting. Because Yesod, we know, is a brit, a covenant. That's how it's connecting two souls together. Practically saying, you want to take that to a more practical level, you have to ask yourself, do you always remember to be grateful for when somebody did something to you? And this has to be in your mind constantly, because if you really focus on it, you'll see that you're not thankful enough or grateful enough for what people do to you. Now, even when it's obvious, you still have to show gratitude and appreciation. I remember when I was growing up, we would have, like, dinner was kadosh, sacred. If I would be late to dinner, I would be petrified to be late to dinner. So I would play outside and I would already half an hour before, oh my God, chas v'shalom, I should be late for dinner. Anyways, but that was the time we would all sit around the table. And my father was always a very busy man, but and this is what is like echoing in my memory from being a child. Every time we would finish eating, he would always come to my mom and thank her for making the meal. A simple thank you, but not like a automatic, a real thanking. And this is something was engraved in my memory, that he, on that one hand, one can say, he's working 16 hours a day, he's providing, he's the breadwinner, and etc., etc. It's obvious that my mom's part is to make the meal, but nevertheless, he was appreciative. Thank you for you doing your part. And that's something that was very, very profound in my memory. This is one out of many. You see how being grateful and appreciative to something that is even obvious, or in Hebrew say muvan me'elav, that it's of course you have to do that. But I always teach my kids, I don't have to do anything. Somebody does something to you, you show appreciation. So again, the yesod of the hod is to not only be able to admit, is to be able to thank. Apply that in your life, I can guarantee to you that you'll see a great improvement in a lot of your relationships. Needless to say, with your relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Don't think that you don't have to work on a relationship with Hashem. Don't take my relationship with Hashem for granted. It doesn't mean that that's Hashem created me, that He owes me anything. He doesn't owe me anything. It goes like this, it will disappear. So I have to also work on my relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, not to take for granted that I'm breathing. Take a stop every day and have a 5-minute hitbodedut with the Kadosh Baruch Hu and thank Him for everything that He does for you. That your fingers are working, that your mind is working, and your mouth is working, and your teeth are there, and your everything is working. And if it's not working, also thankful for today that it's not working. But we have to build a relationship with Hashem. So we take it to the relationship between me and you, and between me and the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And one of the keys, the yesod, the foundation, is gratitude. Gratitude, appreciation, and sometimes all it takes is 2 words. Thank you. In Hebrew it's easy, it's 1 word, todah. So in English it's a little bit harder. 2 words, it's a little bit more effort. In Hebrew, you just say todah. Mezad Hashem, we know how to thank Hashem and thank people around us. We're going to have a much better relationship with everybody around us.